Call the meeting to order for the Douglas County Budget Committee. Back in order. We're going to begin with Salmon Harbor. Tab 49.
Good afternoon, Chair Jones, Commissioners, Committee members. Jim Zimmer, Salmon Harbor Department Director. Before you use the proposed fiscal year 27 budget for Salmon Harbor Fund, we've got a projected revenue of $4,043,380, which is about a 25% increase from last year's budget, revised budget. The main reason for that increase is that park and camp revenue is returning to a normal pattern after last year's reservation changes. In fiscal year 25-26, about $1 million in park and camping revenue shifted into the prior fiscal year. That made 25-26 revenue look artificially low. So for 26-27, those changes have mostly worked through the system, and the proposed revenue is closer to what we would consider a normal year. Camping and RV activity continues to be the largest revenue source for Salmon Harbor. It accounts for about 70% of the revenue generated through operations. The main revenue items are camping and RV at $2,579,200. Boat moorage comes in about $556,080. Fuel sales, $432,100. RV license revenue at $215,000. And rents and leases around $96,000. Altogether, operating revenue from charges, fees, rents, leases is projected at $3,716,380. And with a beginning fund balance of $1.5 million, total resources are projected at $5,543,380. On expenditure side, total proposed expenditures is $4,887,551. This is an increase of about 17% from the fiscal year 25-26 budget. Personal services are budgeted at $1,958,323, which is an increase of about 4%. Staffing remains flat at 16 full-time employees, so that increase is tied to cost of existing employees and benefits. Materials and services are budgeted at $2,397,728. This is about an increase of about 24%. So this is the main operating category for the harbor. It covers day-to-day costs of maintaining and operating the harbor, the resort, camping areas, utilities, dredging, and contracted services. A larger increase in this category is mainly tied to professional and technical work that supports projects identified in the Salmon Harbor Master Plan. These include regulatory work for dredge disposal on a beneficial use project, engineering for Beach Boulevard improvements, and funding set aside for dredging if there's an opportunity. Capital outlay is proposed at $285,000, includes a new breakwater dock, ramp, and gate at $120,000, a new walker mower $15,000, and a picnic pavilion at the RV resort at $150,000. The proposed ending fund balance is $655,829. Overall, this keeps budget staffing flat, continues day-to-day operation, and sets aside funding for several projects to support the direction laid out in the master plan. And that's all I have.
Just a quick question, or a couple of them actually, observation. This year's projected revenue through the end of the year, we're getting close. You gotta have a pretty good idea maybe where we're gonna end up there.
Yes, it looks like we're gonna hit,
What do you think?
I don't have a number.
Dan, what do you think?
It's gonna be closer to what it was in 25.
So closer to 4.2?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is this, I'm not asking anything I didn't already know the answer to. But So as a member of the public and not somebody that's already involved here can ask these questions ahead of time, I'm looking at your budget and I'm saying, you need to cut your budget. You're upside down. And I don't know why we do that. You know, you're looking at 4.2 this year, you budgeted 3.7 next year. I'm guessing it's gonna be a lot more than 3.7.
For revenue?
Yes.
Well, we typically project revenue low and expenditures high,
Yeah. Why?
so that we don't lock, or it's hard to predict the, the camping public.
But you're doing it considerably low, considerably high is what my point is. I just want for me, I would like to see it closer than that. I'd like to see an operating budget that reflects what I think is gonna happen. And I think you do a really good job over there. I'm not being critical of it, and I know this is the direction you've gotten over the years. I just know that was a habit we were in here at the county, and I don't particularly agree with it. I just think that I look at this and I'm thinking, you're upside down operating over there. That's what the public's gonna see when they look at this,
Right,
and we know that's not the case.
right.
So that's my point to all that. I just want to bring that up.
So I'm happy to add on to that, and I understand, Madam Chair,
Yes,
I understand the idea of, being conservative on your revenue and making sure you're budgeting, high enough on your expenditures that you're not gonna be in a bad place at the end of the year. And I think that's probably wise if you have a budget committee and commissioners that are gonna be critical if that happens. But that isn't us, right? I mean, we're gonna be supportive of you, and if there's some, weather event or some other problem that messes with your revenue, we're gonna understand that. I think to Commissioner Cress's point, this budget looks like you're budgeting to lose almost, a little over $750,000. And that's not what you're doing.
Right.
That's not what your plan is, that's not what's gonna happen. And I think that, the idea of trying to be as close as you can does create the situation. If you fall short of your revenue, your expenditures are a little higher, it may look bad at the end of the year, but I think I would prefer for you to, be reasonable in your revenue forecast and try to close that gap so it doesn't look like you're budgeting to lose money, because that's not what you're doing. You're gonna make money, and you consistently have, and you run a great shop over there, and it's, world renowned, it's beautiful over there, and I think you just do an excellent job, and I think we're, maybe the budget direction, either today or moving forward needs to shift to being more realistic about what's actually gonna happen, and understanding if there is a hiccup, we're gonna be accepting of that and supportive of it. That make sense?
Yes, it does.
My point is, I want to showcase how well you're doing.
Yeah.
This is,
This
and I don't want someone to look at this and say, geez, why are you guys doing that? Why do you keep throwing money into that thing, right? Well, we're not, and it's just, we're, like you said, we're not only accepting of it, but we manage budgets. My budgets are meant to manage by, and if they're kind of unrealistic, then they're not really.
I think in this case, particularly in the last couple of years, we've made some pretty drastic changes to how we collect our camping fees, and we weren't quite sure how our guests were gonna respond to that. So it just made sense to
Be careful.
to be careful and see how things play out.
I just want to plant that bug in your head. That's, I know you do a really good job over there, and so it's like, I hated to see this in paper like that.
yeah, because we have a community that sees this, and they see that you're planning on losing money and wanna know why we're supportive of it. If you're planning on losing money, it needs to be a plan to make money, not lose money. My understanding.
Okay.
So I'll move to tentatively approve this budget, recognizing we might dial it in a little bit before it's the final adoption. Is that reasonable?
I'll second that.
Okay, any more discussion?
Just to say that you do an amazing job over there. Thank you for
Yeah.
your work.
Thank you.
It's beautiful over there.
For sure.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
over.
So now that we've done that, do we wanna go back to the top of the page and start working our way down?
Sounds good.
Okay, so now we will go to tab 6, Tiffany?
Afternoon, Tiffany Podlesnik, County Council. I use the proposed budget for County Council. Our department consists of 3 individuals, myself, one other attorney, and then we have an almost full-time legal assistant, but not quite full-time. The budget is essentially a status quo budget. You'll see a slight increase in the materials and services. The primary result of that increase is we're due to replace some laptops, so we just have an IT expense. And there was a little bit of an increase regarding some of the copying fees, but otherwise it's essentially the same budget as last year.
That's it? Any questions or comments?
Well, I would just tell you that as quick as that budget is, means she can get back to work, because all the legal stuff that goes through here, all the contracts, all the advice she, gives all the departments and all the work that she does and her staff up there, we should probably have quite a few more people up there. And then on top of that, these other things come in that are extraordinarily difficult. And you heard the Dent commander talk about how she continues to do foreclosures for them, which is something the previous county council did not do. So she's taken on a lot of duties. So thank you for your work, and I will move to tentatively approve the budget.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? You're passed. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm also here for the Law Library Fund.
Or 45.
The County Council Department manages that. We do have a part-time law librarian. The law library is open, I believe it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings to the public, and it's located on the other side of the courthouse on the 3rd floor next to the courtrooms. We've had this law librarian about a year now. He's doing great work over there. The law library is funded through revenue received from district court fines and fees. And so the primary expenditures there are just the subscriptions that we have. We have a Westlaw subscription that the public is able to use, and just keeping the books up to date so that members of the public who need access to these materials have that and have updated resources available to them.
I would also add, it's the most beautiful room in the whole
Courthouse.
organization that we have here. Yeah, it's beautiful there.
It is,
It's kind
haven't
of the
seen it.
County Commissioner Annex office.
And hard to get there, but
Yeah,
So the law library is free to the public on those days, or do the public pay a fee to use the library?
It's free.
It's free.
It's just the limiting open hours to the public, just because the law librarian is part-time, but it is free to come in and use the materials that are there in the Westlaw.
Okay, any more questions or comments?
I would make a motion to tentatively approve the law library budget.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Notes. Next on the list is tab 8, Douglas County Emergency Fund, Emily Ring.
Hello, Emily Ring, Douglas County Emergency Manager. My department is a staff of 2, myself, 1 full-time, and currently a position for an assistant full-time emergency manager. My position is partly grant funded at this time with the EMPG grant, and the assistant position is all general funds currently. If you didn't know, we do emergency response functions, recovery, outreach, trainings, drills, volunteer support groups, equipment caches, and then new programs and projects that are of community interest around emergency management. I worked with finance. We're always trying to be sensitive with budget constraints. There have been a lot of grant fund losses recently, and I don't really have mechanisms to generate my own revenue beyond grants. So we looked at opportunities to cut or reduce. So some examples I wanted to point out is we ended an older, more expensive satellite service for a newer, less expensive one. We're about 2 years into the EM facility on Diamond, and that gave us a better sense of its cost to maintain. So in the last budget, you might see I over budgeted for some things, under budgeted for others around utilities, heat, things like that. We didn't quite know. So we were able to trim that and tighten that up around, just small things, but they add up, like mostly around HVAC. We didn't plan to live in it, but we did live in it for months, post-flood for the flood recovery. Wasn't expecting to run it full-time around the clock, but we did, so some changes there. Some other trim downs included, last year, I had about 50,000 for contracted projects. This year, not anticipating to do as many contracted services, so trimmed that down by about 20,000. I'm sort of in a hold and improve mode, not doing a bunch of new stuff, just improving what we now have in place. Most of my things are minor tweaks. Where I ended up, even with annual cost increases in COLAs, I came in about 5,000 difference to the general funds than the year before. I was aiming for a wash, but I didn't quite get there. Do you have any questions on that? Yes.
So I want to remind everybody that Emily came here to evolve our emergency management and create a whole new department. She's a department head level now. Wayne Stinson did amazing work here at the county and was fantastic. He worked under the sheriff's department. Emily actually, her department now, emergency management, is a full county department, helping and working with all the departments here. And probably the most dramatic difference is her community outreach work that her and her staff do, which was something Wayne simply didn't have time to do. So to any great degree, that's a big part of what you're doing. The evolving of emergency management and creating capacity for these emergencies has been critical to the work we do as commissioners. Since I've started here and the other commissioners, we've had these series of once-in-a-lifetime emergencies, each time discovering capacity gaps. And we've worked very hard to fill those capacity gaps so the next one we're better suited. And we talked about communication earlier. That was a huge gap that we had, and it's been filled very well. Emily having her facility out on Diamond Lake Boulevard with her own equipment and her own place to train and organize things and be ready to respond really proved to be invaluable during the floods we had last year. And for the training, you're out there, seems like you're doing training all the time out there. So, but for the budget, it's a little bit like painting the cars that's going down the freeway. I mean, she literally is trying to figure out what things are gonna be, and it's getting dialed in, but as more and more budget years go by, sort of the cadence and the cost will become a little more stable. But Emily, thank you for the work you do, and as much as you stay busy in between emergencies, having you here during emergencies is fantastic. You're the right person to lead us during those emergencies.
Yes.
Also, Commissioner Freeman mentioned the outreach, well, and the amount of extra work that you've done because of that, which you have, but that's also created more work for you to do because you're out there in the community and then there's something comes up that there's a need or whatever, and then you've gotten involved in that. I've really appreciated all of that, and I actually appreciated you've taken, honestly, that load off other people or got stuff done that would have not even known there was a problem. So, I think the outreach has been very critical and very important, and I appreciate all the work you're doing.
If you're happy, I'm happy. Wayne Stinson had the fun of search and rescue. I lost the fun of search and rescue. That is with the sheriff's office, but I get the fun of the community outreach events and getting out there and being in neighborhoods with people. One note, my assistant position is currently vacant. My my current assistant, he's been great. He was a wonderful hire. He moved on due to life situations, and so that is currently vacant. So we don't quite know what that's going to end up. I'm trying to rehire before summer really hits us, but there will be a little bit of leeway potentially because it's currently not filled.
You'll find the right person.
Hopefully. I think that's all I had, unless you have questions.
Any other questions? Any other comments? Ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion to tentatively approve the Douglas County Emergency Management Fund.
Second that.
Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Now we're gonna go to Parks Department. Tab 18. That's you.
Into my schedule. Good afternoon, Budget Committee. Mark Wall, Parks Director. We'll present the Parks budget.
And Forestry. Says and
Yeah,
Forestry.
yeah, but I'm Parks Director right now.
Okay.
Mark's hat on.
I do forestry on the side.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just dive right into it. On the org chart, I did add one FTE, Women's Tech Inland. And to help offset the cost of that, we had a temporary budget of $30,000 a year for temp. And so we dropped that to zero. And actually converted a temp employee that's been working very well for us into permanent park maintenance tech. The intergovernment revenues, what I call operations and maintenance, it's down slightly compared to last budget year. What I would add to that is the actual O&M revenue is up and continues to creep up. The variance that you see there is equipment. We get equipment grants through ATV O&M support, and so that's what some of that variance is caused there. But the underlying O&M support continues to just creep up slowly. The charges, fees, rents, and other sales down $338,000. What I would point out there is that our actual operating revenues is going to be up, pushing $300,000, and what you're seeing there is the sale of Pass Creek, which is $750,000 that was reflected in this year's budget. Personnel services up approximately 7%. That's the one FTE we added plus the COLA and merits that individuals get. Our materials and services is flat to slightly under. Capital outlay, this is for equipment. That's down compared to last year, just reduced needs. We've been pretty aggressive replacing old equipment and vehicles the last few years, and you're starting to see that taper off. On park projects, intergovernment revenues, that's all grant funding. And then we have some transfer coming in from the CFM fund to help pay for the capital projects. Those capital projects are on page 80 at the bottom. The Whistler Bend Campground Phase 3. This is to rehabilitate the upper campground at Whistler Bend. This project will complete the renovation of that park, and that is 50% grant funded. The Dan Van Slyke staging area improvements, those are 75% grant funded, and that'll take place next fall. And the Cougar Creek Boat Ramp parking lot and dock replacements, those are 75% funded by the Oregon State Marine Board. And what I call my top line revenue, it's up about 10% in the current fiscal year. The finalization of Umpqua Zombie Park contributing significantly to that increased revenue. Personnel expenses up about 140, and the materials and services in the aggregate is actually down about $40,000 for various reasons. With that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions? Tom? Tim?
Tom, have something?
I did, I just, question, did you say, did I catch you right, that you said that the intergovernmental,
O&M grants?
intergovernmental revenue, I thought you said was up 750,000 because that was a sale, oh, okay.
We sold Pass Creek,
I know,
so the,
but I thought you said that was under intergovernmental revenue, which is it?
No.
Okay,
it was
yeah.
under the second line item. It's showing a negative
Under
three.
county forest management? Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought, I didn't hear you right. That was it.
It's a big negative number. I wanted to make sure everyone understood that. You got Pass Creek sale driving that.
So Pass Creek, you had charged fees to him?
No, it was a $750,000 sale that's reflected in the FY 25-26 budget, which compared to this year's budget shows as being negative 340.
Gotcha.
Take Pass Creek out of it, it's positive about 350. That's what I was trying to point out.
Question, Tim?
Yeah, so my question's around the general fund requirement or contribution portion. I'm assuming that we are continuing to look to get that to zero and maintain it at zero.
Well, it looks like you're paying money out to Salmon Harbor, is that correct?
Yeah, we, along with Salmon Harbor, we co-fund Jody Wilson, who handles marketing for us for both Salmon Harbor and Coastal Parks.
So they're, okay,
But her expenses are in the Salmon Harbor Fund, so.
I help pay for that.
okay. Yeah, cause I was gonna say, cause I think it's kind of just the way the numbers are done, cause I don't think he's not really requiring anything out of the general fund, is he?
We have budgeted to require a little, but it isn't gonna happen.
Okay, that's what my understanding is, we're not gonna, okay,
We have, again, conservatively estimated revenues.
Okay.
And it's gonna come out in the positive. It's gonna continue to come out in the positive. And we're also in this position right now where we have essentially one big project left after what we have listed here. And we've pretty much rebuilt the entire county park system with new everything, from restrooms to playgrounds to asphalt to electrical utilities and all you can imagine. The next big project after we finish Whistler's Bend is an expansion and a renovation of Half Moon Bay Campground over the coast. And once all that's done and we sort of can get to a spot where we're maintaining what we have instead of rebuilding or building new, this is gonna look a lot different.
Kind of in an aggressive growth rehab phase right now. Stanton Park's just finishing up this month. So we'll start to see that contribute next year, and the Whistler remodel will contribute. And this is all setting, department's on a good glide path for its revenue goes. We're setting it up for it.
So, again, thank you, and this rebuilding of the park system has been nothing short of amazing, so don't take this as critical. But instead of budgeting general fund dollars and not using it, we could easily have done it differently and said, okay, if we generate extra revenue, then we'll have the funding available to buy 3 pickups, a skid steer, and an attachment. And that's $205,000, which is greater than the general fund. So I hope even though it's budgeted this way, we're on track to say if, the revenues don't get to the point where we're not using general fund, we will put off the pickups and all that stuff for a year, right? I mean, does that make sense? I think we're in that place. The budget it's hard to budget that way. So I understand why it's written down like this, but we've worked tirelessly to get this to be, and successfully has been not using general fund. So I just hate to see it budgeted that way, but I understand why it's that way.
that's, yeah. Any more questions, comments? Do I have a motion?
Move to tentatively approve the parks budget as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
So just got a text here is gonna be, she didn't know we were moved up on time, so maybe move to Tony.
Sure.
Come on up, Tony.
Tab 39. Being here earlier.
Yeah, a long ways to go to get here.
Two doors down.
So this is what confused me. So the park said forest, and now this says county forest.
Mark is the forestry director who manages the forest land.
Under the land department.
Okay,
So Mark's got a couple different hats he wears.
okay,
He had his park hat on today.
okay.
Okay, I guess we're on page 181, right?
Correct.
Okay. So good afternoon, committee members and commissioners. My name is Tony Page, the director of the land department. We're a small department with 2.1 employees. Mark is the 0.1, so. And those of you who don't know what the land department does, I'm sure most of you do, but a brief description of what we do. We do all aspects of property management, anything to do with land, real estate, all aspects of forestry. We do acquisitions, purchases, disposal or sales of real property not needed for the county uses. We do creation and administration of county leases, real estate appraisals, creation of legal documents including purchase and sale agreements and contracts, deed and easement creation, timber cruises, management of tax foreclosed parcels as well as surplus and foreclosure auctions. We assist in zone changes, comprehensive plan amendments, property and deed research projects, and we also do right-of-way appraisals and acquisitions for public works and any other department that needs real estate-related help. So as far as our budget here, County Forest Management budget, it's called, not a lot has changed from last year. You see, for our timber sales, beginning there, top on page 182, it's we have 3 sales scheduled for $1,787,241. We have anticipated land sales of surplus properties and some foreclosures that we could determine, calculate $475,000. Anytime you have a question on any of this, just stop me and fire away. So, interest on investments, that's speculated at $80,000. And the line in the revenues there, charges and other, that is mostly made up of leases that we administer. The land department keeps approximately $197,000. We administer around an additional approximate $290,000, and the monies that we transfer to general fund comes out of that department. Right. So the total resources for the year compared to last year down by about 1%. Not a lot's changed there. Personnel and services is real close to last year, up by a little bit. Materials and services, same. That's down, and then the capital outlay projects is down. And total expenditures appear to be down by about 14%. So the next few pages are kind of a real small, nitpicking of every single little item that comes up here. And that's kind of it in a nutshell, unless you have some questions on some of the items here.
The capital outlay board approved projects, do you have a description of that?
Yes.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, they're the projects that come up during the year that the board chooses to use the money for. There's nothing specified at this point.
Oh, okay, cause it looked like a pretty exact dollar amount.
Well, it is just to balance it out to zero. We
Oh,
like to-
okay, just to
we
make
like
it balance
keep
out to zero.
open For
Got you.
projects that may or may not.
Cause I'm
happen.
like, that looks like a pretty exact dollar amount to not have something in the
Ending
plan.
balance is zero, so that's
Okay,
good.
got you.
We can work with there, yeah.
That's where that came from.
I thought maybe you had something planned. Okay, so theoretically, if you don't come up with something, that could be, you could see, it looks like
Don't end up in the ending fund balance.
any
carryover.
fund balance carryover, perfect, okay. Any other questions or comments? Do you have a motion?
Move,
Go ahead, go ahead.
move tentatively approve the county forest management budget.
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
making it easy on me. Appreciate that.
And Sierra is still
Move
not.
on to
General fund stuff.
general fund stuff, tab
Tab
24.
Like how fast I said no.
So this is a section of the general fund that are transferred out to other funds to support them. Dog control, the Health and Social Services Fund, Public Safety, and Predator Control District.
I will make a motion to tentatively approve the non-departmental transfers out.
Second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Does somebody have Sierra's cell number they could text her? I think they're having trouble getting hold of her.
Oh.
Oh, she is.
She's here.
She already, there she is.
His wife walked in.
Come on up.
Very good.
That was quick. Walk in the door and you're up. Tab 38. Sorry, we're a little ahead of schedule.
Ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Afternoon, everybody. Before you is the proposed budget for the 2026-27 year for $2,287,656. It's about a $46,000 increase over last year. This includes 9 full-time employees, which is the same as the current year, with a 2% COLA merit and merit increase. It does include a lower budget for our temps as we are contracting out a lot of our needs for the temporaries as far as fare. So that we've been able to decrease that and use volunteer groups to supplement those costs. We are continuing our projects of just buildings and grounds. There's no major projects planned for this next year. We're gonna keep working on trying to fix some of the smaller items around grounds that are in need of repair instead of working on the larger ones. Try to give the facility a little bit more nice look on some of the things that we've been doing. Fair is looking good. Our Aaron Lewis concert is actually sold out twice. So I've added additional seating to that and hopefully we will sell out on that as well. And we're excited for that because it hasn't happened in a while. So I'm looking forward to having at least one really good night and then hopefully the other two, their sales will start increasing over the next couple of months as well. And that's really fair. Fair is ready to go and that's our big thing for the year and we're just gonna keep working on trying to fix like some of the small projects that we've got going this next year to really try to show the community that we care about the facility and the buildings and what we're doing.
Last year we discussed racetrack facilities. Did any decisions be made for repairing the grandstands?
No.
Or is that still just sliding?
It's not in the budget.
Not in the budget? It's just, I've been asked by several people about it and you didn't mention it, so I thought I would ask.
Yeah, no, that's several $100,000 to really work on that and that's not in our budget right now, so.
There's several little capital things that it's in materials and services that they do every year. That's a big one, but they do a lot of work out there. It's an aging facility too.
Mhm.
Their latest one, their water line broke which happens every year, but this one was in a unique place. Was it clear up by the museum or something like that?
Yeah, we've had a few break in the last few weeks. That's been interesting, but we had one in the RV park that we had to dig up that we didn't know that line was even there. And so we found a 2-inch line that we don't know where it goes either. So we put a valve on it for now. We had a racetrack leak out in the racetrack, a line broke. We've had the dump station has leaked. So this year is definitely, I think, as the ground has been more dry, it's been a little bit worse on the shifting of the ground out there. We also had to repair the couple of drains for water, runoff water, because they had sunk as well and they were no longer safe. So we got those fixed. So there's constant water line issues out there.
Do you think it's telling that every time they book these acts that I've never even heard of, they seem to be successful? So there's something to be said for that, I guess.
It's your age time.
Yeah, it's something I've heard of.
Yeah.
So when you say you sold it out twice, how does that happen?
Well, we did our regular seating that we normally do, which is about 500 seats. And that was sold out within like the first month that we went on sale. So I added an additional 2 rows of reserve seating and that sold out. And then we went out and measured, and we used to go wider with our seating, and we had cut that back. So I added a bunch of rows with side seating as well. So we're at about, with the new VIP front standing area, we're at about 880 seats that are paid for. And then everything else, of course, will be the free seating. So,
Cool.
And the other shows, are they filling those seats up too?
Nico Muniz, he's about, I think we're about 300 seats. The tone looks a little less. But we did some stuff recently with our buyer on looking at what we did last year, and the majority of our ticket sales that don't happen in that first 2 to 3 week period don't happen until July, because we don't really advertise. We start our advertising July 1st. So I expect to see an increase once we start doing our advertising. I just met with the marketing TV stations down in Medford, and I'm going with a new company this year that Jackson County Fair uses, and they're giving us 1,000 spots for what we were gonna get 275 spots for from the other company down there. So we are trying to really market the south of us, because that demographic seems to come up here for a lot of our concerts. So I think that'll help too.
Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to tentatively approve the county fair board fund.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, your motion carries. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So now we are back to you in 25.
Tab 25 is additions to notes receivable. It's a placeholder that we budget in case we kind of need to loan governmental entities money or related.
And it says last year you did none of this. Are you
Right.
anticipating some? And so this is just in case?
Not in this fund, yes.
And how long's it been since we've done this?
You loaned City of Oakland in 2014?
Well, Commissioner
Yeah,
Commissioner
there's
Boyce
only
did
2
that,
payments
so-
left, so it was,
So he had to be after 15.
Well, I was here, so.
Yeah, so after,
yeah, 2017, I think. Or something.
I was here.
2018 or 19.
Okay, 2018.
yeah, time flies. Been a while ago,
Yeah.
long enough they've paid it off almost.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to tentatively approve the additions to note receivable fund.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Tab 40.
40 is our county schools fund. This fund's sole purpose is to receive monies largely from the Forest Service portion of Secure Rural Services, or timber receipts as it may be, and other state funds that come into there that are designated to be distributed to the schools within the county.
This is a pass-through.
That's correct.
Any more discussion? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to tentatively approve the county schools fund.
I'll second that and note that it appears that we're budgeting, gonna approve a budget of almost $2 million to pass through the schools.
And we're not paid to manage that. We do that as
That's statutorily required.
statutory required. I know, just wanted people to know. Okay. So, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Moving on to
Now 42,
two.
predator control. Predator damage.
So here's your predator
There's my
control.
predator damage.
This is the one that's, we contract with the USDA to manage, the predator control in the county.
So the USDA pays us back for this?
No,
No, we pay this.
Yep.
We used to be that we could, not charge, but, people opted in to pay for this out of their own, funds to pay for this, and the state, it sunsetted and the state wouldn't approve it back, just to allow, landowners to contribute.
So Commissioner Boyce and I and Commissioner Morgan at the time worked with the legislature to approve, what turned into, to get it approved was a pilot project to have predator control district that would allow people to opt in. So people that saw the value in this program could help fund it. And a lot of people saw the value. It never got to where we weren't paying anything, but they certainly were paying a good portion of it. As the bill got ready to sunset, there was confusion over the program, whether, I think people in the legislators up there thought that this had something to do with the actual service, the predator control work, which is not all killing animals. Some of it's education and live trapping and other things. But they confused because of the name. We might should have named it differently. Think if we'd have named it a tax, they probably would have passed. But the fact that it was named Predator Control District somehow got in the minds of the legislators from up in the big city that this was about killing animals. And this wasn't about killing animals at all. It was about letting the landowners that saw the value of the program, the entire value, not just the lethal part of it, but the entire program, enough value that they opted in voluntarily to help pay for it, and they did not reauthorize it. So the program's pretty important. It affects our ranchers and farmers. It also affects county timberlands and county-owned lands and county parks and other things too that they do work for us. So that's why we continue to fund the park portion of the program. I got that right, Chris? I know you worked a lot on it.
exactly right.
I was gonna ask you though, do you see them ever taking it back up again?
I don't know.
I mean, they've tried it kind of 2 or 3 times
It's not received well in Salem for whatever reason.
now. Well, some of them think it's like a coyote killing contest.
Yeah, like I said, just have it confused on what it actually is. But
That's the problem, is that's what it turns into without it.
Yeah, right.
So without having the means to hire the professionals to come in and manage the conflicts between predators and livestock, it turns into, a vigilante justice situation where people do whatever they gotta do, and that's exactly what the folks in Salem don't want, but they have a hard time understanding that, so.
Move to tentatively approve the control district budget.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Drug abuse prevention, tab 43.
This is another pass-through fund. Money is received from the state for drug abuse counseling and services provided by, we currently are contracted with ADAPT for those services.
Make a motion to tentatively approve the drug abuse prevention fund.
second that.
We have a motion and a section. Any more discussion? would like to make a comment that the animal predatory one was 233,000. This one is 100,000.
This is not the only contract we have.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was like,
We've got
it's a
millions of
little
dollars.
unbalanced here, guys.
We've got millions of dollars going to drug and
Okay,
mental health type.
so where does this money come from? The intergovernmental revenues?
It's a,
Is it a tax on?
it's a section of the Oregon State revised statutes, 2145 or something like that. It's just money that's
Set
dedicated for
aside.
that.
Okay.
It's a population formula funding.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. So now our next one is 44.
The truth of the matter is, I think that one particularly comes off, funded by one of the sin taxes, isn't it? That particular one, tax on alcohol or something like
That's
that?
what I
Could
thought.
be.
Alcohol,
It's,
that's what.
it's specific to one thing, I think.
There's a revenue stream, but I'm pretty sure it's a formula,
Yeah.
population formula. You know,
Yeah.
It's not a grant you apply for.
Industrial Development Fund, tab 44. This is money that we received from the Oregon Lottery used for economic development. We have a water and sewer line project that we're actually doing right now out of our capital projects fund that is industrial development related and did not have it budgeted per se out of this fund, so this coming year, we're transferring money back into the capital projects fund to pay for that, and that's what the 1.5 million is.
Primarily, this fund pays for infrastructure and workforce development.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to tentatively approve the industrial development fund.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 46.
This is our Title III fund, as part of SRS, only not actual timber receipts, but part of SRS is that a portion of what the county receives, Commissioner Freeman talked about earlier, using the funds for, some of these funds that they expanded the use for, they go through bridges and that kind of thing, also goes to our Firewise programs and other approved expenditures. And this is the activity we anticipate in the upcoming year.
So, to be clear, we're a little behind on the committee meeting and doing the allocations because SRS was not approved for a long time. And when it was reapproved in December, the approval required the agencies to fund it in 45 days, which included a makeup payment from 25 when we actually got timber receipts. They've made that makeup payment on the Forest Service side, but not on the BLM O&C side. So, you know, in that payment, we've received the Title III for that Forest Service for that year, but not the O&C side. They went ahead and made the payment for the second year to make up in the year of reauthorization for the Forest Service side, which includes Title III, but not the O&C side. So we have two chunks of what will be Title III funding that we have not yet received, and it doesn't make much sense to convene the committee and do the work and then redo it again. So it's been more than 45 days since the bill was passed. So we're eagerly waiting to get those, and then we'll have the projects and the committee and all that done. So, but it's primarily Firewise and ongoing things that, you know, bridges and those things that we've been doing.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to tentatively approve Title III fund.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Tab 48.
Tab 48 is our capital projects fund. Again, these are, this is where we do our capital related projects for the county that are not attributable to other funds. And we don't have anything specifically approved at this point, but we have placeholders there every week.
Any further questions or discussion?
Make a motion to tentatively approve the capital projects fund.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Tab 56.
So the Employee Benefits Trust Fund, this is where, this is the fund that takes care of all of the insurances as far as, risk management related, health insurance, liability, workers' comp, unemployment insurance. It's funded by all the other departments for, they pay into this in order to make the premium payments and or set aside, money for our own, self-funded, programs. Self-funding, we still self-fund for liability claims. We do have some insurance for that. We also self-fund for work, unemployment. But last year we switched our workers' comp to SAFE. So we've been on SAFE now. This will be our second year into that. And we still have some claims pending out there from the past when we were self-funded for that. I'll also note that Michael Kurtz was who helps manage this program, the risk management side of it. We moved our attorney, Paul Van Dyke, most of his wages in there last year, because that's where the majority of his time is spent, is in the risk management side of for that purpose. So we had reallocated a lot of his wages and benefits into this fund, and that's why there was an increase last year. So.
We'll move to tentatively approve the Employee Benefit Trust Fund.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just a question, is the materials and services line item there in the requirements, is that exposure to like workers' comp claims?
Yeah,
The
so
bigger
that would be any
bigger jumps in the last couple of years?
Any pending claims, you know,
Okay.
We've had some claims recently, and it for budgetary purposes, it's pushed us up against the limit this year, then we'll have to adjust it, so this number is higher this year because I left room in case there are some claims and we wouldn't have to adjust for that.
Okay, alright.
And so if you go on workers' comp, doesn't the workers' comp insurance gonna
It
cover
does,
that?
it does, except for the ones that are prior
Pre-existing.
to that.
So
which
any,
So this is,
they'll eventually phase out.
Phase out.
any injuries or
Yep.
problems that occurred prior to us going to workers' comp, we still have to.
resolve, yes.
Yep.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now we are reconvened tomorrow at 9 a.m.
9:30 will
9:30.
be the extension service will be presenting their budget at 9:30.
Tomorrow you're gonna be a chair.
Chair, so we're done.
Chair.